Hey guys, what's up? It's Frisky2050 here, and this is gonna be my first video. I'm just gonna say this in advance. I'm sorry for the clunky type of editing I did and the bad music editing. I also do not own any of the music that is in this video. And alright, let's get into it. I'm gonna be commentating on this game, MX vs ATV Reselect. You know, since I'm riding a dirt bike on this game, I'm gonna do something that's suitable to this dirt bike game. And I'm gonna talk about my first crash on my dirt bike, unquote. Well, you know, I don't really do too much stupid stuff on my dirt bike, but when I do, it usually does backfire. It backfired pretty hard. Well, so I live out in the country, and I have a telephone pole basically in the middle of my yard. And it has one of those yellow things that go from the pole into the ground. Well, I was riding around in my yard, and I ride up and down my road. It's a dirt road, so usually cops don't go down there that much. Well, I was riding in my yard, and I'm like heading towards the pole and the little yellow thing, and all of a sudden I see a car, like an SUV thing, drive up in front of my yard, or in front of my house, slows down right where I was headed. All of a sudden it basically fully stops right there. And I'm not going that fast. I'm in like second gear on my XR80. And like, you know, all of a sudden I'm freaking out, you know, like I was just riding on my road. I think that's a cop. I'm flipping out. I only had my dirt bike for like a year. I didn't know what was happening. So I try and do one of those like stop donut things and then flip it, and like flip it around and then go. Didn't go out too good. It didn't go. And well, I put my foot down and I start turning. I go halfway, and my front tire comes up, and I'm riding it in like second gear. It's up in the air a little bit. It hits one of the trees in my front yard, and it spins me around again. And then as I'm spinning around, I see that the car is driving again, like driving off, but very slowly. I'm turning around still. I'm barely on the bike at this point. Like, my body is on the side of it. One of my feet is like on the seat, basically. I'm like not on there. I'm holding on. I'm like right about to whiskey throttle it. And you know, I'm just riding. I'm on for the ride. I'm on for the thrill. All of a sudden, I'm going towards it, the little telephone pole thing, and the yellow cover for the wire that's going into the ground. And I go straight and hit that thing. Like I hit it with my body, only my body. And well, my dirt bike goes into my ditch, and it like hits it, and it shuts off. Well, I'm just hanging there on that little pole thing for a while, and you know, it's like across my chest. I'm like sitting there suspended in the air, like can't breathe, wind knocked out of me, like about to cry. I'm like sitting there. I'm in a lot of pain. I was in like second or third gear, full pinning it, and it was pretty fast. I mean, like it all happened in like the blink of an eye, and you know, like I was like scared out of my mind of what happened. And I'm literally like laying on that thing, like flipping out in my head, like, yo, is the bike okay? What just happened? Was that a cop? Am I going to get arrested? I'm like thinking all this stuff. You know, I'm like 10, 11. I'm like flipping out in my head, okay? Well, I finally fall off, and I'm just laying on the ground for a couple minutes after that. And, you know, after I'm just on the ground for a couple minutes, I realize what happened. I go over my bike. My handlebars are, one side of them are bent in. My tire is, like, messed up. Like, it put a hole in it or whatever. Had to patch that or whatever. You know, like, a lot of stuff is messed up with it. You know, I get back on it. I ride it up to, my garage. I just sit in the garage for a while. because I was crying a little bit. I didn't want my mom to know that I was crying. I didn't think, because then she would go mom mode, and I didn't want to tell her. Because then she would be flipping out, because I don't think it was a cop. I don't really think it was a cop. Yeah, I didn't think it was a cop, and I didn't want to tell my mom, because then she would, like, flip out and try and find the guy, because he made me get hurt. You know, moms do what they do, and yeah, it would have been really weird. And then he would, like, try and do something, and it'd just be taken too far. So I just sat in the garage for a while. I'm really hot. I'm, like, sweating, and I'm like, oh, well, I'm sweating, so it will cover up, like my tears, like, when I was crying. And so, you know, I go in the house, I just take my boots off, and Mom's like, Brennan, where have you been? I'm like, I was outside, and she was like, well, why hasn't the dirt bike on? What happened? I'm like, oh, I put it up, and then, like, I refueled the tires, and then, like, I came up with a couple excuses, and she just stared at me, and she was like, okay, and then she went back into the kitchen to do whatever the hell she was doing. But then I went into my room, and I pulled my shirt up, and there was a huge scratch just down my chest, and it was, like, bleeding, and it hurt so much. Like, I literally fell on my bed, and, like blood was, like, going off my chest, and it hurt so much. My shirt was all messed up. It was, like, ripped in the very center. I mean, it was already a really old shirt. That's what my mom really didn't second question why there was a giant rip in the center of it. But, you know, that basically was all that happened. I went, and, like, the same day, like, an hour or two later, I went and got back on. And then, I'm trying to think. I don't think anything really happened after that. I did go and was riding down the road and get hit in the head by a rock that flew from my front tire, but that's not that big of a deal. But yeah, I guess that's all that really happened, so. Yeah, this was terrible. I'm sorry if you having to deal with this. I hope I'm not too loud, I hope I'm not too quiet, because I'm doing this, I'm gonna try and do it first try, and then I have the music playing in the background. Don't know if it's too loud or too quiet. I can fix that after I do this, though. So, yeah. Thanks for watching and putting up with my crappy voice. Puberty sucks. I'm trying to say that. And, well, I'm coming up on the finish line right here. Well, this is Frisky 2050. I'm signing off here. I'm gonna let you listen to the rest of the music, which isn't anything really at all. If you wonder what these songs are, the first song, I'm just gonna put them out in the description. I don't really care. Well, bye, I guess.